The ways in which the Black community has been systematically oppressed in America have deep wells in the foundational history of this country. So much fun to discuss. But information is power, so let's dig into something that sounds totally uninteresting, but matters greatly. The Kitchen, a wildly popular cookbook that is a fave of Gwyneth Paltrow, written by Matt and Michelle, uses recipes that sound wildly familiar to one Auntie Fee. May she rest in peace.
You take it and you wipe it, because I ain't nothing but butter and sugar. You put it on there. And you like that?
All the ways on fleek.
We in this beach, finna get crunk. Eyebrows on fleek, the fuck.
Has appeared in major corporation advertising, from hash browns to makeup. To, well, damn, Pop Snark. Clink, clink, clink to that. Without the creator Peaches, well, she hasn't seen a dime. The entire history and success of Jack Daniels. Social media has opened up the floodgates to us branding ourselves and creating various businesses, because getting a good job with good benefits ain't that much of a guarantee anymore. And well, who can deny that the idea of making tons of money off of Instagram isn't enticing? And all these things, from The Kitchen to Peaches on Fleek to us being Instagram models, Fashion Nova ambassadors, all of that meets at the intersection of intellectual property. Why did I deduce being an Instagram influencer to Fashion Nova? As I pointed out in my example over and over again, Black people are not getting the same equity when it comes to protecting their intellectual property, which brings us to intellectual property and social justice. Many of you have probably thought about intellectual property and social justice without ever knowing the term for it. That great idea you had but didn't move forward on because you don't have the means to legally protect your idea, or that time you or one of your friends talked to someone about your idea only to watch that someone then go and produce your idea. Damn. That one hurts. There is no way to talk about intellectual property and social justice without talking to the OG godfather, Professor Latif Mtima from Howard University, the founder and director of Intellectual Property Social Justice, IPSJ. As he points out,
the purpose of intellectual property in American society is to promote the progress of the arts and sciences,
and intersects with social justice because we need to ensure that we can produce.
The results of intellectual property, they're not supposed to be treated only as commercial commodities, like, for example, a new sweater or a new chair. The results of intellectual property work are more important, and they're critical to the advancement of our culture and the advancement of our technology.
I love to say nothing happens in a vacuum. I say that all the time. You have to think about who controls the narrative, how we are represented, and how products are made for us and by us. Should we shout out FUBU there too much? Intellectual property and social justice is about ensuring that we have access to the equity to make or produce, as Latif says.
We want everyone who is a potential inventor of the next medicine, the next important machine. We want all of those people to participate. And it should be obvious to see that if certain people are not given the opportunity to participate, that doesn't only hurt them, it obviously hurts our society.
And an incentive to participate in how we see ourselves and how we build communal wealth. Now, of course, because America is America, Black people have been kept out of having access to owning their intellectual property because during slavery,
although a Black slave could create an invention, the law specifically held that a Black person could not own a patent. And so what this meant was that obviously the slave could never receive the benefit of his or her invention, but it also harmed society because the law also held that only the inventor could actually have the patent. And so that meant that the slave owner could not have the patent either. So this means that there was no incentive on anyone's part to try to create a patentable invention.
So that's what it means when we say having the incentive to participate in the system. Because if you can't own it, if you can't monetize it the ways others can, if you don't have the access to build, this harms the community at large. Now, today, because of the internet and social media, we have a way of pushing our intellectual property into the community, of creating, launching businesses, brands, and services, ways to be innovative that nurtures our community. The first step is to learn about your rights with regards to your intellectual property and advocating for social justice around the needs of your community's access to protecting their IP. Creative Control is an organization looking to help minority creators and business owners protect their intellectual property. They host clinics that bring intellectual property, IP lawyers for free consultations. Bruh, do you know how much it costs to sit down with a lawyer? Sis, they give you free consultations and you should definitely check them out. Creative Control has been very, very beneficial to me because I went through a whole court case in 2016 with my former manager. She claimed, I had the gall to claim, she owns 35% of my brand, Smart Brown Girl. I learned a lot in a very expensive way about how valuable my intellectual property is, and it took someone else trying to rip my intellectual property from me in order for me to see its true value. Your ideas, your innovation, and creations are of value and worth protecting. Then we need to protect our access to the internet because that's part of the equity in our intellectual property and social justice. It's wild in 2018, we have to think about the internet being restricted, but net neutrality is real, a very real cause. And of course, our communities are the first to be negatively impacted because America. And this just so happens to be another focus of Creative Control as they partner with other tech firms and nonprofits to counter public policy that restricts various and often Black and brown communities' access to the internet. There's a wealth of knowledge around intellectual property and social justice from Professor Lateef, and you can find his work right here on my screen, to looking up Creative Control. Aha, like that magic. Everything we mentioned will be linked down below in the description box. I want to see not only my smart brown girls flourish, but I want to see more diverse faces being able to turn their innovations into successful businesses. I want to see more than just folks out of LA or NYC win, and I definitely want to see more Black women in general. Let me know in the comments down below, if you could create a tagline for your brand, what would it be? It's fine if you procrastinate all day, you can give us a tagline for that too. I put it off so it can't put me off. Ahaha, can you laugh at my own corny jokes? Tina Knowles does, I can too. All your taglines can be like the intro for the Real Housewives of Smart Brown Girls who know how to protect their intellectual property. Thanks for watching, deuces!